Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, we got the latest news and rumors circulating around the silver and black. Last night was Valentine's Day, and I promised my girlfriend I wouldn't do any Raiders videos unless there was some big-time news like, I don't know, a Derek Carr extension, which we're going to be talking about that near the end of today's show. So this is what happened last night. Hopefully you guys can accept my apology and say, hey, man, I'm sorry I wasn't able to make a video last night. But the Raiders, they went out and hired Antonio Pierce as their next linebackers coach. The reason why I like this move a lot, and I know some people are like, oh, does every move that the Raiders make you like? No, there's been actually a few moves that I didn't really like that the Raiders made. But the reason why I do like this one is because he was a former NFL linebacker in 2001 to 2009. In Arizona State, they put a lot of trust in him. Why? Because Herm Edwards said that this guy was one of the best recruiters and he could work with players. At the end of the day, I want somebody, when you have somebody like Josh McDaniels who has struggled connecting with players, I want dudes like Antonio Pierce who has that relationship, who can relate to those guys, and who can come into that locker room and say, hey man, I've been here, I've done this before, and now you have an extra coach, which is very, very crucial. In terms of some of his past coaching stops, I mean, he was the assistant head coach, defensive coordinator, linebacking coach, and recruiting coordinator for Arizona State last year. He was the co-DC linebackers recruiting coordinator, I'll get it together, for ASU in 2020. In 2018 to 2019, the linebacking coach and recruiting coordinator, and then the head coach of Long Beach Poly High School from 2014 to 2017. So this guy's got NFL experience, coaching experience, but this will be his first gig in the NFL. So get your red pens out, y'all, or maybe your Sharpies, not a sponsor. But I want you to grade the hire of Antonio Pierce. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down in the comments. It's a B+ for me, dog, and I like it because of his ability to be able to come into that locker room, relate to a lot of those players, and when you hear some of the other guys that talk about him as a coach, he's working up the ranks very, very quickly, and there's been some other guys that have played some NFL football in the past that have gone on to be good head coaches, and I don't know if you guys remember this, Mike Vrabel, really good head coach. You're also seeing a lot of guys like Gerard Mayo, linebacker, now also a good coach. I really truly believe that McDaniels and Ziegler are going to be able to pick out guys that used to be linebackers, bring them in as coaches, and have it succeed right away. Now, to make sure you guys never miss anything going on around the silver and black, make sure you never miss anything going on around the shield, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, especially if you weren't turned on last night on Valentine's Day. We got you covered. Whether it's a Derek Carr extension, whether it's a trade, whether it's the Raiders go out and sign somebody in free agency, whether it's a PFF Mock Draft reaction, which is actually going to be coming up here in a little bit, I want you to subscribe. I don't want you to miss it. Now, since we brought in Pierce as the linebacking coach, as it stands right now, here are your linebackers going into next season. KJ Wright, free agent. Nicholas Morrow, free agent. You have Divine Diablo and Denzel Perriman. Those guys aren't going anywhere. That's going to be your solid linebacking unit. What's interesting about this, though, is more than likely Patrick Graham is going to bring in a 3-4 style, which means we need to add some linebackers, or I don't know, maybe Nick Kwiatkoski, Cory Littleton could step up. Here's the issue. There's been a lot of rumors already popping up around Cory Littleton potentially getting released by the Las Vegas Raiders. Why? He's scheduled to make $15.77 million in 2022. If you cut Littleton before June 1st, that's $14 million of dead money. You only save $1.76 million. Now, if you cut him after June 1st, you go ahead and you save $11.75 million. It's $4.02 million in dead money. So, will the Raiders go out and cut Cory Littleton this offseason? I'm going to go ahead and give it 2 no Chucky heads and say people are talking. For those of you that are new to the show, that means I believe there's a 50-50 chance. Obviously, saving $11.75 million is great. $4.02 million in dead cap, not that big of a deal. But because the Raiders, and if you guys remember this, I know we've talked about it before, because the Raiders pushed back Littleton's contract to try to get more money and more cap space over the past few years, you still, no matter what, if you cut him, have to pay Littleton $9.97 million in dead money. So if they move on from him, you have to pay $9.97 million in dead cap in 2023. Now, he's not really been all that great the past 2 years, right? That's no secret. So why the heck would we keep him? Here's the reason. Littleton was elite, and I'm going to use this word again, elite, when he played in a 3-4 scheme with the Los Angeles Rams. So potentially, you see linebackers, you see certain guys are built on fit. What if Littleton's just built to be in a 3-4 scheme, which is why I think maybe they do decide to keep him. Over the past 5 seasons, here with the Raiders, it's been really bad. The reason why the Raiders gave him 3 years, $36 million, because in 2018-2019, this guy was playing like a top 10. He was probably the best coverage linebacker in the National Football League. In terms of his PFF grades over the past 5 seasons, 40s, yeah, not great. 2019, a 79, basically an 80 overall grade. A 66 in 2018 is also like a little bit above average. But if you can get back to a 79, that money, it's still a lot for a linebacker, but the Raiders would be more willing to do it. So after seeing his fits in a 3-4, after seeing the money, what do you do with Cory Littleton, man? Type C42 for cut, type K42 for keep. I'm also basing this off of them essentially making a move after June 1st, because I'd be shocked if they did anything before that. But C42 for cut Littleton, K42 for keep Littleton. He's not the only linebacker that we're going to talk about here. We're also going to break up my guy, Nick Kwiatkoski. He's going to make $8.3 million this upcoming season. If you cut him before June 1st, it's $5.01 in dead money. You do save $3.24. However, if you cut him after June 1st, it's $1.25 million in dead money. You save $7 million. So are the Raiders going to go out and cut Nick Kwiatkoski this offseason? This one I'm going to go ahead and give 3 no Chucky heads, and I'm actually going to say there's like a 95% chance that you don't see Kwiatkoski in silver and black, because you can save the money. And Quit was one of those guys that I liked when he came in the Paul Guenther scheme, and there wasn't many people that I said fit the Paul Guenther scheme. Kwiatkoski was one of them. He's built more to be in that 4-3 style of defense. Now, maybe he could switch things up. The other reason why I could see them moving on, all the injuries really starting to pile up. So save money, bad fit, and he was below average this past season. All right, guys, when you look at his past 5 seasons, 2019 in Chicago, pretty legit. 76 tackles, 3 sacks, was able to force 2 turnovers. 2020, he was our best linebacker. I don't care what anybody says. Had 81 tackles, 1 sack, 2 turnovers. Basically, from the jump, it was not a good start for him. In camp, they weren't using him. They were putting him in second string, and I'm not going to pay a second-string linebacker $8.3 million. I'm sorry. When you look at his PFF grades over the past 5 seasons, this is what you're hoping for, right? If you're going to pay a linebacker $8 million, you need him to be over 70 grade, essentially, in PFF. 67.1 was okay in 2020. It was a really bad defense. In 2021, though, under 60. So what do you guys do with Quit? For those of you that don't know, Quit's probably my best friend in terms of a Raiders player. I would like to see him on the team still, but me being an honest person and me giving my honest analysis, you can't keep Nick Kwiatkoski in the silver and black. So type C44 for cut, type K44 for keep. What do you do with Quit? Now, I don't know about y'all, I'm all about the deals, man. If I can find an awesome deal, I'm trying to do it. Now, the last deals that I was showing y'all was actually from one of these sweatshirts here. And if you want to go ahead and get your hands on some brand new Raiders t-shirts, go to chatsports.com/RaidersT. I have 2 new shirts in stock. I'm going to tell you right now, they will not be around in the next 24, maybe 48 hours because of how quick they're going to sell. So if you like this Raider Nation t-shirt, if you like the Just Win Baby shirt that you just saw, you got to go to chatsports.com/RaidersT. That link is going to be available for y'all in the comments. It's also going to be available for y'all down in the description. All right, y'all, so the next thing that's going to be coming up here is we're going to be breaking down Pro Football Focus's latest mock draft. Why? I like seeing what some people do, and then I go ahead and give my 2 cents on it. Now, we're just going to roll quickly through the first 21 picks. That way you guys can kind of get an idea of who went before the Raiders pick at number 22. Here are the first 4. Then you got 5 through 8. Sam, you can keep rolling through them. What makes this mock draft interesting is there was a trade, and it was Russell Wilson, also the Pittsburgh Steelers. They traded up to number 9 with the Denver Broncos, I believe. They traded up to number 9. Then to take Malik Willis, and then the Seattle Seahawks, they traded up with the Philadelphia Eagles traded with the Seahawks, that's it, I'll get it together, to take Russell Wilson. That's why you're seeing some of these picks like, oh wait, I thought Seattle didn't have a first rounder. And this mock draft that they did. All that matters though is right here. The number 22 pick is the Las Vegas Raiders. So after seeing all the picks that just came up on screen, what I decided to do is give you guys my best players available, where if I was in that war room with Josh McDaniels, with Dave Ziegler, these would be my top players. Garrett Wilson, Kenyon Green, Jihad Dotson, Nakobe Dean, Andrew Booth Jr., Tyler Lindenbaum, Trent McDuffie, David Ajabo, Chris Olave, and then Treylon Burks. I base this on overall talent, and I base this on player needs. So knowing those best players available, and it doesn't have to be one of those 10 guys that I just showed you. It can be literally any guy. It can be any other player that you could possibly think of. Who would you want the Raiders to go get at 22? Because this is who PFF decided to pick at number 22. PFF decided to go with Georgia linebacker Nakobe Dean. Now, I love Nakobe Dean. He is a hell of a player. He had 72 tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 5 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. He's the second best linebacker in this year's draft class. And here's what PFF had to say on why the Raiders should draft Dean. Dean is a leader and playmaker at linebacker position, both things the Raiders have been lacking. He's a little undersized at only 225 pounds, but he has elite sideline-to-sideline ability. So before I give you guys my grade on the Raiders taking Nakobe Dean, I want you to go ahead and let me know what y'all think. So scale it from 1 to 100. 1, terrible. 100 is an absolute slam dunk. If the Raiders took Nakobe Dean at 22, what would you grade it? I'm going to go ahead and give it a 70 grade. I love the player. He is a great linebacker, and he might go at 22. He might go before that. The only reason why I don't think it's an absolute slam dunk is because if I can get my hands on Tyler Lindenbaum, who I think is the best center in the draft, I take him at center. I kick Andre James over to guard. Like, that's how much I like Linderbaum. Plus, you got a lot of talented wide receivers there. Now, if the decision for the Raiders is to get rid of Littleton, get rid of Nick Kwiatkoski, and you only have 2 linebackers in a 3-4 system, sure, maybe Nakobe Dean's your guy. However, I don't have linebacker as one of the top 5 biggest needs, and for that reason, sorry, I'm only going to go ahead and give it a 70. Now, I don't know if you guys, when I tell y'all, hit me up on IG, at Mitchell Renz 365. I got a really cool DM the other day from my guy, Joey Mata's wife. So, Joey, when you watch this video, I told your wife to send me a picture of you, and here's what I got. So, Joey was at Super Bowl 56. He sent me this video, and he's like, yo, Mitch, what's up? I'm at Super Bowl 56. This is why I tell you guys to follow me on IG, because to be honest, I get a lot of people that hit me up, but seeing stuff like this makes my day. And if I'm having a hard day, or if I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to make a video today, sometimes this stuff really helps me get through. So, Joey, go ahead and make sure you thank your wife. I don't know if she got you anything for Valentine's Day, but this, to me, I thought this was pretty cool. Much love to you. Thank you for watching the Raiders Report. I really appreciate it. All right, let's now get into the latest going on here around Derek Carr and the whole contract extension rumor. I talked about this on Sunday. I talked about what my Derek Carr contract extension would look like on Monday, and now more and more rumors are starting to come up. So there's a report out there that Carr would be willing to take less money if it meant playing with Davante Adams. My answer to that is no shit. I've been saying it for a month, right? DC obviously wants to play with Adams, and I get the fact that he might want to do this. There's also a brand new report, and I'm going to say report because yesterday I said that Derek Carr could be getting something like $37 million a year in a contract extension. Today, Jordan Schultz reported that Derek's looking at about $35 million. Vincent Bonsignore throwing out the number $40 million per year in a contract extension. Here was my Carr's new contract idea. You give him an extension of 2 years, $74 million, which is $37 million a year. That makes his new contract 3 years, $93.9 million. That's an average of $31.3 million per year, guaranteed $74.0. I know for a long time a lot of people got mad at me for saying, hey, I don't want to extend Derek Carr. It's because I didn't want to pay him this type of money. If it was up to me, I'd pay him a lot less because I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. He's number 11 in my rankings. Now, here are your highest paid quarterbacks per year. The reason why $35 million is being thrown around is because that's what Russell Wilson got, and he got that a few years ago. The issue is this. I don't see Derek Carr deserving to be in this kind of area of upper echelon type of quarterbacks because, I'm sorry, he's not. Now, here's the other part of this rumor, right? You got Davante Adams. Is he coming to Las Vegas? Now, there's been some pretty credible people that have gone out and said that the Packers could reportedly offer Rodgers a deal worth $45 million a year. The reason why that's impacting Adams is because if Rodgers doesn't stay in Green Bay, I don't think Adams is going to want to stay. If Rodgers stays in Green Bay, then Davante Adams is more than likely going to want to stay a Green Bay Packer. Here's the rumor. Green Bay apparently is willing to offer Adams $35 million a year. $35 million a year. The rumors around Adams at 35, they have not been verified to me by a credible source. These Rodgers ones, they have been verified by a credible source. Here's the thing, y'all. I love Davante Adams, right? If you watch the show, you'll know. Number 1 free agent receiver. He's the number 1 receiver in the entire league, according to me. I'm not paying a receiver $35 million a year. No way in hell. For $35 million, I can go out and get Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, and DJ Chark and build an absolutely just freaking ridiculous receiving core. Would Adams be great with Carr? Yes. Would he be great on every team? Absolutely. But $35 million a year, where does that compare to the other highest paid wide receivers in the league? DeAndre Hopkins is making $27.25. Julio Jones is making $22. Keenan Allen's at about $20.03. Cooper's at $20 million. Michael Thomas at $19.25. If he wanted to make a lot of money, he should take a shorter-term deal, which is actually something that I think he ends up doing. Like my Derek Carr contract extension idea, I gave him a lot of money because it was a short deal. Adams could get $30 million a year if he decides to take a contract extension or a new deal of like 3 years. If he tries to take something for 5, he's not going to make $30 million plus. So if you got Carr and you got Adams, they want to play together, right? This is what I'm saying. $60 million a year for Carr and Adams is my max. If Carr wants to make $35 million a year, then all I'm going to give Adams is $25. If Adams wants to make $35 a year, I'm going to give $25 to Carr. Because at the end of the day, for you to invest $60 million in 1 year into 2 players, that's a lot of money. And that would be my benchmark. If Carr's like, no, man, I want 35, I want $40 million, and then Davante Adams like, well, I want a little bit more, then I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Because so many times we come on this show and say football is a freaking team sport. And it 100% is. And if you give all that money to those 2 guys, I'm sorry. You will not be able to go out and compete because the rest of your roster will not be ready. So what is the maximum combined cap hit for Carr and Adams? Mine's $60 million. I want you guys to go down to the comments section and let me know.